Hello Flosstube, welcome back. I am Sarah and this is my channel, The Rocking Chair Stitcher. This is my third Flosstube. And yeah, so let's get on into it. I thought I would show you today my FFOs and FO and that kind of stuff, and then I'll give a little life update towards the end and show you, if you're interested, a little bit of a renovation update. Our house is insane right now. It is literally crazy. So therefore I feel a little bit that way too. But I put on makeup for you guys and got out of my pajamas so I could film this. So thanks guys, because you motivated me to be a little bit more grown up today. But it has definitely been a stay in your pajamas kind of week. We're just getting through. So I'll give you an update at the end. If you're interested, you can stay around for that. But I wanted to start with, I have an FFO. Well, actually I have two FFOs. So I found this frame and I've been trying to figure out how to film this to where it wouldn't give that glare. I'm doing Linda from the Fox's Cottage a little trick, trying to tilt it. I think that's who I saw do that. Yeah, so there you go. But you're gonna see all those pot lights in there? I call those the airplane runway. But I found this frame thrift shopping not long after I did my last Flosstube. So I had an appointment out of town and I had to travel for it. So it's like an hour and a half away. So Justin actually went to daycare for the first time, but it was just my friend's daycare. So I know her, I felt really comfortable. So he spent the day there and I spent the day hopping to different thrift stores on the way up to my appointment, and then actually hit like Michael's craft store and stuff afterwards. So I have some haul. Good thing it's my birthday month because spending all my birthday cash. But I'm really excited because this is my pattern that I designed. It is Well With My Soul. I explained the story behind it back in, I think, my first Flosstube. But I am really excited. This is living in a new craft hutch in our soon-to-be new bedroom. For now, it's like in a makeshift spot, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna hang it on the wall somewhere. I feel like it's kind of hidden in the craft hutch, but with everything in renovations right now, there's not anywhere like I'm like, oh, I need to hang that up right now because everything's off the walls while we're drywalling and all that stuff. So I am super excited about this finish. I picked the frame up, I think it was $3. There's like an SPCA, so like money goes to help animals that they're looking to adopt and stuff. So I found the frame and I was like, I'm pretty sure that will fit it, and it did. So it's just slightly crooked on this end, I think. So I may pull it back out and just refix it. And that's as much as I finished the back because I know myself, I change my mind a lot. So this may one day end up in some other format or in another frame, or who knows. But I actually really, really like this frame for it. So I think it sits forever home, but you never know. But I thought it was so fun. And I had my first pattern sale. So this is in my Etsy shop now, and I'll link it down below in the description box so that you can check it out if you're interested in stitching it. It's all one color, and I would absolutely love to see people stitch it in other colors. So when I first designed it, I had it in 3 colors total. I had included a little square at the end of each peak. It kind of completed the pyramid, but that was in another lighter pink. And then there was these arrows on the corner, or these little details, however you want to call them. They were in a second pink, so 3 colors in total. And then I started stitching it up like that, and I was like, no, like I think I want to just keep going with just the blue. So it is 1 floss, and I think it took me 1 skein, not even a whole skein. I don't think I started a second. So that is something I want to track in the future when I make new patterns, is how many skeins of each did it take me. Although I have found some pretty good calculators online that if you put in the size of your fabric and how many stitches, it can tell you how many skeins you're gonna need. But yeah, so that is in my Etsy shop now, the pattern for it. And it's a PDF, so you can download it in color or in black and white, so whatever your printer allows. And yeah, really excited about that one. So, okay, got a little shelf here that I'm just gonna put when I'm done talking about it, put stuff there. So that way I don't like get so confused. I always make a list too, but I don't want to stare at my notes the whole time. So the other FFO that I have, I am just here's a southern word for you or phrase for you, tickled pink about, because I had an old frame and I showed it on my Instagram, and I think I showed it on my last Flosstube as well. I finished the Happy Harvest design by Littledovedesigns. And I had it in a frame, and I had some ribbon and different stuff I was trying out, and I just wasn't loving it. And it was a little bit too much for me and my style. And I was like, I would actually just really like to keep it like this. So it's finished on one of those little art canvases from the Dollarama. And I was like, but I want to display it, but it doesn't feel like, just sitting it like this feels weird. So I was watching a YouTube channel that she like upcycles and all this stuff. I think it's called White Cottage Co. or something like that. I'll tag it down in the description. She has so many cool upcycles, nothing to do with cross stitch, but you could totally get inspiration. And she makes a lot of things to sell in her Etsy shop that are just beautiful, and you could totally use them as finishing objects. But I saw her make a recipe book stand, and I was like, oh, my husband's a carpenter and I'm capable of learning. And so I asked my husband Josh, I was like, will you give me basics in carpentry so that I can build some little wood things? And he's like, well, what do you want to do? And I was like, well, I want to build this, and I want to build this, and I want to build this. And he's like, okay, let's start with little individual lessons on how to use certain things, because some tools I know how to use, like with helping with renos and stuff over the years, and with roofing and things that I've done in the past. But the majority of the woodworking tools, especially anything intricate, I have no clue. So we spent a Sunday afternoon sometime this September, between the last time I filmed. I don't mark things down on a date usually, unless it's like an appointment. And we made this little recipe stand. So it's just really simple, but it's amazing to me how something so simple still has a lot of cuts and a lot of details. But it is finished with wood glue and finishing nails. And I love rounded corners and rounded edges, but imperfect. So like our counters that you can see behind me probably, they have like a curve the way I sanded them. So like you can see they're kind of curved, and it's just so pretty. And I love the wood, like the knot in the wood here. I sanded down this wood. This is just scrap wood. Josh brings home a ton of scrap stuff, like wood, all kinds of stuff, sometimes ruined in plumbing or electrical. So look, is that not so cute? I am just so in love, and it sits so nicely. And my thought was, I would like to do more smalls, because I'm learning, like I have bigger projects on the go that take longer, and I love them. They're my preference to stitch, but then I like sometimes want to see something finished. And I was like, I could stitch more that are roughly this size, or that will fit on this little recipe stand lip here, and then I can finish them on these little boards and then switch them out as I want, because it's not always harvest. Although I love fall, so this will probably stay up till like right up until Christmas. And in Canada, we have Canadian Thanksgiving, which is not the same as American Thanksgiving timeline wise. So in America, or in the US, Thanksgiving is late November, so third Thursday, I think, right? So in Canada, it's in October. And like in the US, there's a very specific date that is, like it's always that Thursday or whatever. But in Canada, it's like the weekend, and it's like Saturday, Sunday, Monday. You always get the Monday, like that's a stat holiday in most provinces. It is not in Nova Scotia, I don't think. But so people celebrate kind of like on all of those days, like, which tends to happen in the US too. I find like people are like, oh, I'm here at grandma's house, and then I'm at my mom's house, or I'm at my boyfriend's house, or whatever. Like people end up eating like 3 turkey dinners. But here it's like when I ask Canadians what is the actual Thanksgiving date, I get a different answer every time. So I think on the calendar it's technically the Monday, but if you're Canadian or you just happen to know, let me know. But I ask that question every year, and it always makes me giggle, because everybody always kind of goes, oh, well, it's kind of like the whole weekend. But I think on the calendar it's actually Monday. So anyway, we get to celebrate Thanksgiving twice. But I thought that was so fun. I can just put it away and pull out maybe a Christmas one or whatever. So I think this is kind of going to be like my smalls finish board. So I have it currently sitting on my counter in my kitchen. I don't think it will stay there long term, simply because we cook in our kitchen every day, and there's definitely grease that gets on things, like residue in the air, and I can wash it off of, you know, tile and metal and things, but washing it off canvas and wood is a lot harder. or maybe impossible. So I don't think it's going to live in the kitchen, even though I would love it to stay on my counter. It's probably gonna go in our new living room, but we'll see. So I am very excited about that finish. And I'm not even gonna pretend to try to explain how I did it. I think I could make another one, but I would definitely want Josh around just to be like, what was this angle or whatever. But I think with practice, I'll get there more. So usually I would do like haul separate from like my whips or whatever, but I got a bunch of haul since my last floss tube. That was all my birthday haul from ordering from 123 Stitch, and then going thrifting that day and going to Michael's and to Walmart in their craft section. So a lot of my haul has already been worked on because I was so excited and I already had plans for most everything. I had haul come in and I was like 3 pieces of fabric and I knew what 2 of them were for, and the third one I was like, what was this for? And then I stopped and I thought, and I was looking at my patterns because I have that notebook full of patterns and stuff, and I was like, oh, that's what this one's for. And then I've actually turned around and used it for something different. So this fabric guys, I never promised to be organized or too logical. This fabric, I kept the little sticker so I could tell you guys, is 25 count Victorian red Lugana. And I thought it was so pretty. And my plans for this were to stitch Christmas ornaments. And I think I can get maybe 4 or 5 out of it. I'm not sure. It's a 13 by 18 piece. So I used to do embroidery, like freehand style a lot, would make my own designs, would copy some designs too, like use some designs and stuff. But for the most part, I would just be like, oh, I want to make this, and I would freestyle it. Not copy, like steal. And so I got used to finishing everything in an embroidery hoop. So all these other different finishes are very new for me. But my intention with these Christmas ornaments is to finish them in embroidery hoops because I have a whole stash. So like, it's ridiculous. But okay, my goal was not to have to clip the video footage at all, but here I am. So I'm covering up part of this project because it has names on it and not everybody wants their information on the internet. So there are names under each little one. Let's see if you can see. So this is for one of my siblings, my brother and his wife, and I put a little bow on her hair just to show, oh, she was the girl. And this is their little boy, and he was born this summer. And so it has their names underneath, and I'm going to add the year for 2023, because I thought, oh, in the future, if they have any more kids, the little kid might be like, why am I not in there? And then you can just say, well, in that year, you weren't born yet. So that is, excuse me, that is kind of my plan for that. I got this pattern from, let's look at my notes here, the Ultimate Christmas Cross Stitch Collection magazine. So I realized I can find free patterns through my library app. So on the Libby app, if you're in North America, I know for sure it's in Canada and the US. I don't know about Mexico. And then past that, I have no clue, but I think other countries probably have library apps to some extent. But in the library app, you can check out books and read them digitally, or you can like on your Kindle or on your phone or whatever. So in my library app, I realized there's cross stitch magazines. So I checked out that magazine and I found that cute little pattern for the reindeer. And it was actually, they made these little felt like baby shoes. They look actually probably pretty simple to make, but I didn't want to make shoes. I just wanted the pattern of the reindeer. Excuse me. And the pattern is called Festive Feet. And I just thought it was the cutest thing. So I basically substituted almost all of the colors because I just pulled from my stash. And I didn't want to go out and buy a bunch of new floss because I just, one, bought a bunch of new floss. But two, I had lots of like similar colors that could do the job. And I thought they turned out so cute. The only other thing I changed besides the colors was I added the little bow to her hair. So the slippers just had one reindeer head on each slipper. So I just duplicated for the mom and the dad, and then those are 2 over 2, and then I stitched 1 over 1 for the baby reindeer, just so he was littler. And it's the exact same pattern otherwise. So yeah, I am super excited about that. My plan is to just finish it in the hoop and put some fabric or something on the back. And that will be a little Christmas surprise. And then there's plenty more fabric to do more ornaments with, hopefully. So I have my mint tea. I scalded my tongue right before filming. It's much more manageable now. I have heated the water 2 or 3 times for this cup of tea today. It's just been one of those, not just days, kind of weeks. So yeah, I've heated water for tea several days, and then like at the end of the day, I'm doing something in the kitchen. I realize like my cup is sitting here and the tea bag's sitting here and there's never been water poured on it. So I'm like, I'm drinking my cup of tea today. This is a cute little mug. I don't know if it'll show, yeah, that Josh got me years ago. And it says, in Christ you are a loved child of God, redeemed and forgiven, complete in Jesus Christ, a new creation in Christ, more than a conqueror, a citizen of heaven. And under each one of those statements, it gives scripture references, multiple references under each one. So this is my remember where your identity lies mug. It's not about in me succeeding or doing things well or perfect, because I don't. And to have grace, because God's had grace for me. So yeah, there's my tea. So I'll take some sips of that as we go. Okay, so I was gonna do the giveaway winner next, but I haven't actually done the random selection to pick a giveaway winner. So I will film the rest of the Flosstube and then I'll come back and clip that in at the end. So I have my whips, which, like, I see some people share their whips and their starts together, and I decided I would just do them separately. That's how my brain works. So I just have 2 whips today. Excuse me. And I have this one that I showed you last time, Be Kind. It is a Bucilla. Pattern is from Hobby Lobby. Got it this summer in the States. I've hardly touched it. I literally today when I was getting ready, I was like, oh, I haven't ripped those blue flowers out yet. So ta-da! I ripped out the blue flowers. So that's done. And then I went back and looked just for a progress picture, and I literally like was here last time and here last time. So I've just finished a little bit more of the circle, and then I've done the inside of one of the sunflowers, and that is it. So I still really like it, and I like it way better now without the blue. I think without the blue, it just changes the look of it a lot. So I'm excited to go back and work on that one again. I got like hyper focused on a few other patterns, and this one did not get much love. And my bathtub lady, she's not been touched. I'm still really excited about her and really like her. Oh. But yeah, there's been other, I'm so excited to design my own designs and then getting them stitched. And there's a couple other projects that I was really excited about this time. So I was like, okay, well, it's okay. There are people who have like 5 million whips and they only touch them like twice a year. So, hey, I'm doing pretty good. And no hate on those people who do that as well, because it works for them. So part of my haul that I got in my birthday haul was the rest of the floss. Look at those fall colors. Oh, I literally like, you could just jump into this. It's like a pile of leaves, like so pretty. I got these for my Autumn Glows whip. I started this beginning of September. It's going way too fast. The tree took forever, and I'm actually not 100% done with it, but this is the Autumn Glows pattern, and they have 4 in the series. So the tree, I now understand when people say it's like confetti crazy. The tree has tons of confetti, but the rest of it I have absolutely loved. And I kind of have been stitching all over the place with it. So there's like this cute little house here. So all that's left in the house is just to stitch the white trim that goes in there. And then over here is just the edge of the border. I love it. Everything about it. The cute little boots. If you follow me on Instagram, you probably know every time something new shows up on this stitch, I'm like, hello, little boots. Welcome, little owl. Welcome, pumpkins. I just feel like they all have so much personality. So I've kind of been stitching all over. I've been focusing the last couple of days more on the top. I thought that jack-o'-lantern was so fun. Even though he's like proportionately like way too big for the house. I was like, but I actually have someone down the road. I don't have someone. They're not my neighbor technically. They're like 10 minutes away. But they have a huge blow up set of jack-o'-lanterns. I think there's like one for each person in their family. I thought that was kind of fun. This light is like, there we go. There we go. Isn't he so cute? So I was a little uncertain of how tall it would be. And this fabric was like double this length. And I wanted to cut the fabric so I could use the other part for another stitch. And so I worked the brown part of the border down on that one side, this side here, just so that I could know the length for sure. And my plan is to frame this one. I don't know if I'll do the other seasons or not, but it's a lot of fun. I love those purple pansies, flowers, whatever they are. I was really skeptical about the purple because I was like, is that really gonna match? Is it gonna go for fall? And it so does. Like, I don't know. It really does. I guess it kind of pulls in that Halloween vibe, but it's not really Halloween-y other than a jack-o'-lantern. But yeah, I just thought like even just the little edging here, how it creates the silhouette. So pretty. There's like gonna be a whole row of leaves here. Anyway, so this has been my big stitch that I've been working on most nights after renovations, and sometimes I get stitching done in the afternoons. A lot of afternoons I do during nap time, but not every day, just depends on the day. I have some of my tea. So those are my whips, and then I have some fun starts that I'm really excited about. The first one is one of my own designs that I'm stitching up. And I know like everybody's different, like when they're stitching their own designs, they're gonna sell their patterns and stuff, like whether they don't show it until they've already finished and got it up in their shop. So this is not listed yet. It will be in the future, but I don't know. I'm excited to show it. So it's my Flosstube. I'm gonna do what I want. So I am stitching this on a 14 count Ada, and it's Swigert. I got that from Hobby Lobby in the States. And the pattern is going to be called Need a Paddle. I've already changed the colors from what's on this picture. So the mock-up is on a blue background, but I did not like the blue options I had for fabric, and I liked the green that I'm going to show you. And so I've already started changing the colors here. And I'm stitching this for my sister-in-law, Amy. She teaches canoeing every summer at a camp where her and her family go and volunteer. And she absolutely loves canoeing. I remember thinking like, what's there to teach about canoeing? You just get in and paddle. But I actually went portaging with her and her husband and my husband, Josh, which I do not enjoy. And if you've never portaged, it is not exciting like it sounds. It is if you love it. But if you don't know what portaging is, then you're in the same club that I was in. And I very naively was like, yeah, let's go portaging. And portaging is literally you canoe in on a lake, and then you get to land and you carry your canoe and all of your backwoods camping supplies with you. So it's heavy on your back, and then you carry the canoe on your head or your shoulders or whatever for however long the land mass is till the next lake. And then you get in again. And then you canoe, and then you get out and you do it again and again and again. And then you have to get back out because this is not like a loop, not that I've ever done. And I was like, what have I signed myself up for? And if you know me well, I like camping in a campground where there's a pool with chlorine in it, or a saltwater pool, and there's a playground, maybe a little ice cream shop, and we drive in, set up our tent, and then we unpack, and then we stay, and then we pack it all up and leave. Not that kind of camping. So I had to learn that about myself when we first got married. That was a fun time. No. But there are some fun memories. But anyway, I learned a lot So bunny trail. I learned a lot about canoeing on those trips, that it's not just put your paddle in the water. There's a lot about directional and da-da-da-da. I don't remember half of it. But here is my start. So there's going to be 6 paddles in total. I am having difficulty today holding stuff, guys. The sun is like backlighting all of my threads in the back. But I think it is so fun. I've already started changing the colors. So once I like finish this and refine the pattern and the colors that I actually use, of course I'll put all that up in the updated pattern. But I am just really enjoying it. It's a very simple stitch. There's nothing crazy complicated about it, but I think she'll like it. She has kind of a, not camping motif in her house, but like kind of woodsy cabin in like some of her places. One of her bathroom is decorated like that. And it also like reminded me, so where I got the inspiration for it, even though, you know, my beloved camping story there was not the inspiration originally, I was looking at Airbnbs online, and in one of the Airbnbs on the wall, they had a ton of paddles that were all painted like this, like different designs. And so then I started going on Pinterest and I was like, this is a cross stitch pattern. It has to be a cross stitch pattern. I didn't see any online. And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to make my own. And then I started looking on Pinterest just for how different ways people have painted paddles. And so I don't think I actually ended up copying any of the specific lines or anything from those, but it gave me an inspiration just to be like, oh, I could paint it this way, or I could stitch it this way. Or so I'm having a lot of fun designing each paddle, and I wanted them to be all a little different. So you can see my ring from the hoop here, but I will probably stitch that and then hopefully frame it. And I don't have any special occasion, but maybe just some fun mail. Anyway, so that pattern will eventually be up in my Etsy shop at some point. And then, okay, this stitch I am so excited for. My sweet friend Alita is having her 2nd child, and they're due sometime in the winter, maybe February or March. I don't remember. So Alita, if you're watching this, I don't think you know I have a channel, but you are on my Instagram. So if you're watching this, don't look. I wanted to do a cross stitch birth announcement that would have like the date and the name and all that stuff. So you'll see me working on this. This is my only I've got like a timeline project other than like Christmas ornaments. So this one I want to have done probably by January, just so that I know it's done, and it'll be mostly done. And then once the baby comes, I'll add in the name and all the details. And I don't know if they're having a boy or a girl, so I picked something that I thought was pretty neutral. Their nursery is kind of mountain themed, so I thought this was so cute. I love forest animals, the woodland look. They are mountain people through and through, and so I thought it would be so cute. So I'm gonna stitch everything, but of course the name and the info down here, and then I'll plug all that in once the baby is born. And I just thought, oh, that's so fun. It will go with their nursery style, and I thought it would work for a boy or a girl. I don't know. It is a little more masculine, so I thought, oh, maybe I'll put like a bow tie or a pink bow on one of the animals once we know if it's a boy or girl, but I may not. I may just leave it the way it is. So that is the new pattern, and this pattern is by, I was gonna write it down. Yeah, it's here somewhere, but I can't see it. I think it's Not a Stitch. I will link it down below, or write it down below so you can check out. It's on Etsy, and she has a lot of beautiful birth announcements stitches. So I am stitching this on 32 count cream Lugana fabric. This was the mystery fabric that when I got my 1, 2, 3 stitch order, I was like, what the heck was this for? And then I realized it was supposed to be for this pattern. And I'm just not excited about that pattern right now. Like, I'm excited about it, but I'm like, not like, I want to start it. So it's like, I'm gonna steal the fabric and use the fabric for this stitch. Does anybody else do that? Change their mind after they've already ordered all the floss. But I got all the floss for both stitches. So yeah, so I just started stitching this yesterday and I got a really good start. So there's like a lot of little confetti dust down here. Just excuse that. But I got the adventure word done. So I finished that last night. I was up late last night watching some YouTube, and then I was stitching on this while my son was having a bath, and so of course I stay right there with him and don't leave. And I realized I was in the middle of stitching adventure, and I realized I brought all the floss into the bathroom with me except for the color I needed. So I just started a little bit on the mountain there, but I thought this font was so beautiful. So adventure awaits is what it's gonna say. And I thought for a bit of stitching time yesterday, and I got quite a bit last night because I was watching a debate, and so there was like a lot of, I had to stay up late because we're on the what is it, Atlantic time, so everything's, you know, usually Eastern time or later. So anyway, adventure. So I thought that was so fun. I'm really excited to stitch this. I think it's actually going to stitch up decently fast based on how much I got done yesterday in 1 day's. I didn't stitch all day, but in 1 day's of stitching. So and then part of my haul was all the fun colors for that. Kind of still autumnal looking. And I've been so bad. I'm just like eager to stitch, and I don't want to like put everything on bobbins. I'm so lazy. So I'm literally just like pulling from the skein. So I usually, when I start a project, put everything on bobbins and get it all organized, and I've not been doing that. So I probably should, but it's working, so we'll see. You may see me next time and still haven't bobbinated them. Is bobbinate really a word? I've seen people use it, so I'm gonna use it. I like it. Bobbinate, the bobbinator. Okay, so this is, this is silly Sarah. This is the project that I was gushing about last time, but like was like cliffhanger about. Like, I am so excited to stitch this. I saw this maybe back in May or June, before I was like really into Flosstube or anything. And I just fell in love with it. I was like, I have to stitch that. And then found out that the pattern is free. And I'm sure if you follow them, you have already seen this a million times. Owl Forest Embroidery and 100 Owls is the name of the pattern. They released this, I think, years ago. And I believe at the time it was a sow. And just look, oh my goodness. I think owls are quickly becoming like my favorite thing to stitch. Like there's an owl in the Autumn Glows pattern. And I don't know, I'm just like, when I'm thinking about designing patterns, I'm like, oh, I could add an owl. Like, I've never been obsessed with owls, but apparently with stitching them, I just think it's so beautiful. So when I was reading through their website about this, they had talked about stitching on a couple different colored fabrics, but when I saw it on the green originally, I was like, oh! So I wanted to stitch it on green. I had some other fabric that I thought about stitching it on because I was just eager to start, and I was like, no, I'm gonna be patient. Sarah, be patient. And so I was patient and I waited. Sorry, I forgot to take this out before. And I have just a small start. But hello, little owl. Is he not adorable? So he'll have another paired owl on this side. And there's like some greenery flower leaves here. And this is at the very top in the middle. And this thing's gonna be huge. But isn't he so cute? And I was so skeptical as I was stitching him. I was like, that's kind of a pinky color on his chest. And I was like, is that white too white on his face? And it worked. He looks great. I think he's so cute. I think my favorite part was honestly stitching this brown wing here because of the little dots. I was just like, ah! His character is coming out so much. So I just feel like he's a little friend. So this is like, to me, a very long-term project. I am on the hunt for owl fabric because I want to make a fabric. I want to make a project bag with owl fabric for him to live in. Well, not just him. He's going to have friends soon. But I'm thinking, like, if I try to stitch, because I started him in September, which I'm going to call him my birthday month stitch. So my goal is to have him done by next September. So I'm thinking if I stitch 100 owls, like 1 to 2 owls, most weeks stitch 2 owls a week. That should get me there. And then a couple extra, and I should be good. was 52 weeks and 100 owls, so a couple less. So that gives me a couple of grace weeks, which I'll need them. But some of the owls are like itty bitty, so you would do like a bunch in a day. But that's my goal. And to me, some pieces, when I start them or even look at the pattern, I'm like, that's going to be a framer. Like, that's not going to be a little ornament or something seasonal. Like, that's going to be a framer that stays on my wall year round. And this guy is it. This guy is, I'm imagining him in kind of like a gilded gold looking frame. Pretty ornate, but we'll see. I am just so tickled with this one. And he was worth waiting for the green fabric. And what is the fabric? I didn't even tell you that. It's like, oh no, but I still have it. The fabric is 32 count green Lugana, and it's from 123 Stitch. So yeah, hello little owl. I don't know, he looks like a Norbert or something like that. What would you name him? I just think he's so cute. So you'll be seeing that stitch for a very long time, I think, because it's going to take me forever. But I found in my Nana's stash of craft stuff, in that first box that came, I found this, which I really need to use, but not on this finger, because this finger, my middle finger here, I always hold underneath the frame with my left hand and I stitch with my right. So I hold the frame like this and I stitch and then go under. I'm looking at maybe for Christmas asking for like a stitching hoop stand, but we'll see. But so that's how I stitch, right? And I just discovered this in her stuff the other day. And so I was using my finger to kind of guide the needle as I poked through. I don't know why, it was just habit. That's how I was doing it. And I was creating what I guess would eventually turn it into, and is starting to now turn it into a callus. But it was like the skin one day like broke and it was like peeling back, and so I pulled it off, and then, oh sorry, that's really gross, but it created like this really sore spot, and I was like, oh no, I can't stitch or whatever. So anyway, I was super gluing something and managed to not super glue the item I needed to, but I super glued that spot and only that spot on that finger. So then I was able to stitch because I super glued it. Now it's starting to get a callus, so I guess the super glue helped it. I'm not advising that you go do that, although my husband super glues his cuts at work. Apparently that's a trade thing. A lot of people do that. Anyway, my point was this cute little leather, this is coin thimble. Clover maybe is the brand, I don't know. So now that my super glue is worn off, I have my little alien finger here. So that will help protect my finger. I thought I'd just show you that in case you're new to cross stitching and had no idea stuff like that existed. There you go. I thought it was only like the metal thimbles, which I hate and don't like how they don't stay on your finger. That like clings to your finger. So there you go. Stuff you didn't know you needed to know. So I have haul. I mentioned a pattern last time, but I didn't have any printer ink, so I hadn't printed it out yet. I have printer ink, so it's all printed. And I am so excited to stitch this. I have enjoyed chatting with Allison on Instagram. And yeah, I have been eyeing up this pattern for probably since she released it. And so she and I were chatting, and she asked if she could gift it to me. And so some stitchy kindness is My Soul Finds Rest. And if you get a chance, follow her on Instagram. Her Instagram is, I think it's a New Creation Studio. Yeah. So she and I had a nice chat about some different scripture verses and meaning behind this. And so she is just lovely to talk to. And she just designed her own bobbins that have her logo on them. And they're so cute. Not bobbins, floss straps. Maybe bobbins too. I don't know. So, but they have her logo, and I thought that was so pretty. So I have not even looked yet to see what floss I need, but I'm hoping to stitch it up in the called for colors because I just think it's just so beautiful. I don't want to change it at all. So like I mentioned in my first floss tube, my hope is to kind of have different things in my home. Lots of fun things like the autumn glow that there's not really a purpose behind, but they just make me happy. But I also want to have very intentional words around me. And I like to do that in the art that I put up in my home. So I am super excited to stitch this one. You should go get her pattern. It's a PDF. And I love PDF patterns. I don't think I have well, I guess I have those little kits that I got from Hobby Lobby in the States. But beyond that, like I just have all digital download patterns. And I actually love it because then you have it instantly. Sometimes it's bad because then you don't have all the rest of the kit with you and you're like, I want to start. But yeah, I am just so tickled. So she has my lighthouse pattern. We kind of exchanged or swap patterns. But it was very, very generous. Thank you, Allison. I am super excited. And I will put that info down in the description too in case you want to find her pattern. And she has another one too. That's another scripture or another kind of quote. I can't remember if it was scripture or if it was a quote. That's beautiful as well. Kind of similar, but different in different colors. And just everything she has in her shop is beautiful. So definitely check her out. So excited. I don't know when I'm going to start that one, but I'm very excited to start it. It kind of feels wintry to me. So is your own patterns haul? I don't know. But I'm treating it like that because I'm like, I can't buy any more patterns. One, because I need to stop and budget. But two, because I want to stitch some of the designs I've got. So Floss Cross is a website that you can design your own patterns and you can convert images to patterns as well. But so I've been designing on there, but you only get 3 design slots. And once you empty a design slot, your design is gone. So you have to download it and export it as a PDF or whatever, or else leave it in there. And for me, I leave them in there until I've stitched them so that I can go back and edit the pattern before the pattern is finalized. Like my paddle stitch, I've already changed the colors. So now I'm gonna need to go back in there and adjust it. So you can only design 3 things at once. But it's actually a really nice program and it's all free. It's on the internet. I don't think you have to download anything. Well, I know you don't have to download anything to use it the way I am. I don't know if there is even a download version, but it's fun to use, Floss Cross. But because of that, I'm like, okay, no more buying patterns, work the ones you have so that way you can see them finished. And then you can design more. Because to me, I think I enjoy designing almost as much as I enjoy stitching. I am so enjoying it, so fun. Because it just like gets that idea out of my head and actually like into something I can work. Like I've always wanted to paint or draw and that's never been a skill I've had. Like very, 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 very basic. So this is like my drawing. So anyway, this is a new pattern that I'm imagining on Vintage Country Mocha Lugana. But I don't know. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. A little gingerbread house. A little reindeer in the bottom. So I'm really excited about him. I'm hoping to start stitching him in the next month or so, just because I think it's so Christmassy. He could just be wintry, but I mean, come on, gingerbread houses is totally Christmassy. So this is one of my new patterns and I'm really excited to stitch it and eventually it'll be in the Etsy shop too. And yeah, so that's my personal haul that I designed. And then the last of my haul is stuff for project bags. So on my thrift top, oh, I did actually have one thing that's not, this is just more floss. So there was tons of floss to me go throughout. I didn't really point out. That's all haul that came with my birthday order. But this is the floss that's for this stitch I showed in one of the previous videos. And all the colors are beautiful and I love them except for this color. It's really pretty, but it does not seem to match. It's almost like kind of Halloween-y. So I was talking with Lorena over at the Fox's Cottage and she was suggesting maybe stitch the rest of it and then in the colors that you have and then add in a little bit of the stitching that's in that color just to see if it goes, and if not, you can sub it. So I think that's probably what I'll do whenever I start this one. But the rest of my haul is from my thrift day. So at the animal shelter thrift shop, they had all kinds of stuff in that place. If you're in Nova Scotia, is that like Kentville way? And that place is like wanders. You go through one hall and then you go into another and you're like, am I back to the first room yet? It's not what you would expect. It's kind of tucked back in there in the first place, this building. It's like the back of a building or something. But anyway, I got all of these zippers for $3.75, $3.25. like total for all of them. So my hope is to make some little makeup bags in the future, like sewn makeup bags for some little Christmas gifts. Not this year. That's not my goal this year. But I have some of the zippers are shorter for that. But then the larger, longer ones I want to make project bags with. Because now I have the itch. So I bought, on my thrifting haul, I bought this fabric. This is so cute. It is a curtain panel because it's got the little, oh my goodness. This is so in my brain right now. This little doodad at the top where you can put the rod in. What is that called? Anyway, the top of your curtains. It smells so clean and so nice. I hung these on the line to dry. It smells like sunshine. So I love everything Anne of Green Gables, everything Road to Avonlea. And that's what this reminded me of. It's not, but I think it's because the green coloring. And then the sunflowers are just so happy. So this is a pretty big curtain panel. So I should be able to get several projects out of it. I don't know if I'll make them all into project bags, but so pretty. So I got this curtain panel. She called it a tablecloth at the store for $3. So I thought that was so pretty. So should have seen my, if I had a shorts video on YouTube and on my Instagram of me putting them on the laundry line. The laundry line was so pretty that day. Like all of this fabric, I think in total cost me like $3, $2, and $1.25. So $6.25 for all of this fabric. So I thought this one was so pretty. This has Little House on the Prairie vibes to me. Like I don't know if this is what calico is, but when I imagine calico as a child growing up listening and then reading the Little House on the Prairie books, they talk about mom making dresses out of calico. And then a lot of old books also reference calico. And this is what I imagine. This may not be calico at all, but whatever this is my vibe right here. So anyway, it's a very big piece too. It's got some weird cuts on the back, but I thought I could get a project bag or two out of that. So I thought that was super pretty. I found those fabrics there. Oh, and then there's one more here that I got. You never know what you're gonna get on my videos. I got this fabric, and there's a bunch of it, like a bunch. Anyway, it's so pretty, so like fall. All of it is the same, like kind of white background, except for one piece is kind of creamy, and it's the same pattern. So I'm assuming, however, someone washed it. I'll hold them side by side so you can see kind of the difference. Well, on camera, it's showing the exact same. Goodness. This one is a lot whiter, and this one's a lot creamier, like that background color. Anyway, I think however it was washed originally, it just bled some of the red or something maybe. So it's minor. Only I'm going to notice that probably. But I went ahead and washed all of it because I don't know where it's been. But I thought it was so pretty. And I got all of this for $2. So project bags. And who knows, like I'm kind of inspired now. I'm like, my first Flosstube was like, I don't like sewing, and now I'm like, let's sew. I'm like, what has happened? So all of you floss tubers who sew and talk about it on your videos, you're enablers. You are, but I'm happy to be enabled. So and then I think my last bit of haul was, it's too far to reach, so I'm not even gonna bother, was iron-on fusible fleece to go as lining in the fabric bags, in the project bags. So if you make project bags or have even watched tutorials, is the only way to line a project bag with that iron-on fleece. I was looking at quilt batting and I was like, quilt batting probably would do the same thing, but it's not iron-on. So, because I'm such a noob, I have no clue. But if you know, if you could let me know in the comments, or if we're on Instagram together, if you want to send me a message, because I've been trying to find out if I can put something else in there, but so far when I'm Googling, I'm not really finding answers. And then I got this little fabric pack of fat squares from Michael's when I was on my little thrift hop. Not a thrift store, obviously, but I had a 40% off coupon, so I think this package of fat quarters is like $10 Canadian. I thought they were so cute. I'm a little nervous to stitch them into project bags because like everything, the one project bag that I have stitched, guys, everything, was like busy fabric, right? So as long as like I oriented the flowers up, it really didn't matter like for matching, but these are very gridded lines, right? So like if you don't match them up, they're going to show. So I just want to be really careful how I cut them, which may mean that they sit on my shelf for quite a while because I'm just nervous. But they're very beautiful. And I also thought they may not all be project bags. I may use some for finishing for like the back of Christmas ornaments and stuff. I thought they were really pretty. So yeah, that is my haul. And I guess I will insert the little renovation videos here. So this used to be a door or doorway into the living room. So it was just an open frame. So Josh got the drywall on last night, or the mudding on. He got the drywall on a couple nights ago. So this is just the first coat. So it still has to be sanded and then redone again, I guess, and so on. So here is the old floorboard. So this is two old homes that were pushed together. And then the kitchen where I usually film is an addition that came in the 60s or 70s. So best we can understand from talking with locals and from the paperwork that when we bought the house was built in the 1920s, but we're not sure if that's just this original addition. And then the living room and that half of the house has a bedroom above it was put on sometime after that. So it used to be somebody's summer home is one of the stories we've been told. So they owned a camp next door, and yeah. So basically right now we've got these strapped up, but we're going to be encasing all the wires in rustic wood, hopefully just to kind of blend in with the wood. So this used to have drywall in between each section, and we had a water pipe burst while we were gone this winter traveling. So that pipe burst, it's repaired now. It's got to get a new, like, not pool noodle, but whatever the actual thing is. So it leaked over there, and then it spread a leak over here. And so we've treated for the mold and gotten all that taken care of, but we had to tear out the drywall to get to that to fix the leak issue. And when we did, I discovered that these boards are gorgeous. These are the original floorboards. And it uncovered so much more of the beams because you can only really see like that much of the beam before. So now you can see the whole thing. So I just realized I'm filming the wrong direction, so I'm gonna flip the camera. So I was like, oh, I want to be able to show the whole beam, and I had seen this look where the floorboards are exposed. So our plan is to eventually, long down the road, not right now, it's not our budget, but eventually rewire to where all the wiring runs along the edge so you don't even see it. But for now, what we're gonna do is you can encase them in wood, and that's still up to code. And so we're gonna encase them in wood and then but use some kind of tool to cut these nails just so they're not poking through like that. And so it'll look a lot more neat and tidy. And then I did this, unfortunately, this little bit of paint that's on a lot of the beams when I was painting the drywall in between when we first moved in. The beams that were exposed, I didn't tape, or else if I taped, I was really messy. So I'm gonna have to go at that and sand it some, but it's progress. This used to be a wall of closets, and we ripped it out, and all of these lines are where there were shelves built in, I guess. So it just created some really funky artwork on our wall. So Josh spent a while last night patching a bunch of that, adding in new drywall screws where it needed it, and he moved the light switch over because the light switch was literally, the trim piece is off right now, but the light switch was literally cut into the trim. So he moved the light switch over, so when we put the trim back up, it can be a full piece instead of being cut out. Yeah, so this is kind of where things are at right now. This is going to be our funky shaped living room. We have really long-term plans to rip out. This is our bathroom here that's in the middle of everything. Eventually we'll rip all this out and it'll be one giant living room. But for now, the bathroom stays because we're not ready to reno and build a bathroom in another spot in the house. But what this allows for us is, I will show you the chaos of my living room because, hey, this is real life. And it explains my mental state right now. This is our current living room. So all the stuff from those closets came out. This is the other side of the doorway that I first showed you. So that's being closed in. So that's all you get to see of my chaos. I'm working on getting a little office space set up. So that will be our bedroom. And that's right off of the living room, the new living room. Oh, I just spilled the cat food. Okay, there we go. But yeah, so that will be our new bedroom. And what that does is opens up a extra bedroom upstairs for us for the adoption process. Because we are open to a sibling set, we may need more than one bedroom. So yeah. So that is where our renovations are at right now. A little life update. It's been 2 weeks since my last video. I seem to be getting in a rhythm of every 2 weeks, so this is only the third video, so who knows, we'll see what happens. But I am sitting in my rocking chair. I thought, because I'm the rocking chair stitcher and I love rocking chairs and I'm always in a rocking chair, it seems like, I thought I would tell you about the rocking chairs in our home. So if that's boring to you, you can go ahead and say bye. But if you want to know about it, so each rocking chair kind of has a little story. And so I thought maybe on occasion, I only have 5 or 6 rocking chairs only. But so I, won't have one for every video, but I thought I would just tell you about some of them. So this rocking chair here is special because, one, it's padded. So for this tired old grandma of 30, not really, tired is accurate. Wow, that's a brain blank. Why was I was telling you about the chair. Goodness. Guys, I'm not even gonna edit it out. I'm not. I'm being real. Keeping it real. So anyway, this chair was a gift, but kind of just like not emergency. So we moved out here before COVID started. Had no idea COVID was gonna be a thing. We moved out from Ontario, coming out to Nova Scotia. And all of our stuff was packed in a covered trailer that we had purchased from my husband's old employer who was selling a covered trailer. So we packed all of our stuff in there. And when I say not one more jar of salsa, nothing could fit in there. I am not joking. And so all of our canned goods were in there because not this year because life is just life, but usually we can pickles and salsa and everything under the sun. So all of that was in there. And it was wrapped up and it was inside of a chest freezer. And this thing was packed. It was like a 16-foot covered trailer. So our friends were going to be driving out 2 months later. And they were going to be doing repairs on their grandmother's cottage, I think in New Brunswick. So the plan was they had a truck and they were going to haul out our covered trailer with all of our household stuff. Every piece of furniture, bedding, everything. So we got out here end of January, put an offer in on our house in February. Excuse me. We couldn't move in because there were renters and we had to wait until they had found a place to move to. And so we closed on the house and moved in on April 1st. And our friends were supposed to be coming out April 10th. Well, if you remember, through all the chaos of COVID and stuff, the lockdowns in Canada started happening kind of middle to late of March. Everything locked down. And if I remember right, you couldn't travel between the provinces then. There was no... it wasn't show your passport or anything. It was no, you cannot travel. And so our friends were not able to come to Nova Scotia to bring our stuff out. And so we moved in April and we had everything that we could fit in our tiny little Toyota. And we had hauled our little camper behind us, and it's a pop-up camper. So it's got about not that much space, maybe half a foot to a foot of space. So whatever we had stuffed in there. So very little stuff. So we ended up sleeping for a month maybe on 2 mattresses that were in the camper, camper mattresses, really thin, and sleeping bags maybe, and I don't remember what. I don't know how we even cooked. So what started happening was locals in our little tiny community that we live in started coming and being oh, we have a washer. Oh, we have a couch. Oh, we have this. Oh, we have this. You can just have it or you can just borrow it. Somebody brought us their entire set of kitchen stuff. that they had boxed up that they weren't using, like dishes and pans and silverware and pot holders, everything. So we got to see the true Nova Scotia spirit of we all pull together and work together and care for each other. And that was so cool. And one of those things was this rocking chair. And so when we got our stuff, let's see, we closed in April. We got our stuff in September. We found a guy who had permits or whatever to travel between the provinces for work. And so he had a truck and he hauled, because the lockdowns were still happening, he hauled all of our stuff out here. And he was usually hauling fancy, like $50,000, $60,000 race horses to Florida from Prince Edward Island. But because of the lockdowns, not much of that was happening. So he was looking to haul other stuff. So anyway, he hauled all our stuff out here. And when that happened, we started checking in with everyone who brought us stuff and be like, oh, we can take this back to you now, we've got our stuff or whatever. And some people were like, oh, I don't want it back. Like, I wanted it out of my house. Like, I'm glad to be done with it. And they told me to keep this rocking chair. And it just makes my heart so happy thinking about it, because to me, this is like the Nova Scotia rocking chair. This is like the community rocking chair in my heart, because it's just like people came out of nowhere and just showed us generous love to total strangers, people that did not know. And we started to get to know them through the community and through the church and stuff. But it's just like they showed that kindness well before they really even knew who we were. And that is a love that I think we could all learn to share more of. And it definitely taught me about, caring for people that I don't even know. So that's why I love this rocking chair. Here I am getting teary over a rocking chair. But we all know it's really not the rocking chair that makes you cry. It's the fact that people showed love like that. So anyway, that's the heart behind this rocking chair. I sit in it regularly because it's cushy. And it's definitely the most comfortable one to sit in to stitch, I think. So I think that is all. I will include now some footage of me sharing who the winner was for the little giveaway we did last time. And I'm so excited that this little stitch, even though it's already started a little bit, if you didn't see my last video, it was from a thrift haul. I found it and I just didn't want it to go to waste. And so I'm so excited somebody else is going to get to stitch it. And I will put your name on the screen in the next little clip. And make sure to email me your email address or you email me with your mailing address so I can mail it to you. But I think that's it for this Flosstube. Thanks for listening to me ramble and chatter on. And yeah, I did want to say, I'm really enjoying this community. And most Flosstubes I watch, people say the same thing. And I think it's genuinely because it's a very loving community. Okay, I may get teary, but I'm not going to sit and cry on camera for you. So let me try that again. It's a very loving community that in a time where like I'm home a lot because our son has a lower immune system, and with chronic illness, so do I. And so there's a lot of seasons where I'm not getting out as much. And so I don't think that the internet substitutes for all of that. You need community around you, but when you are home a lot more and feeling a little more isolated, the conversations with people that you're just talking about something you have in common, like enjoying stitching, but then you just have real conversations about life, and that's really, really, really special. So I am just really loving that, and really loving to get to share my creativity, but also just how supportive other people are, and the chance to support other people's creativity with their patterns and their floss tubes. And yeah, so there was another channel that shouted me out, so thank you for that shout out. I'll put their info in the on the screen too, because my brain is blanking. It's a set of sisters, and one of them makes such cute needle minders, so I'm hoping she opens an Etsy shop, because I would love to buy her needle minders. But anyway, I'm just really enjoying this community, and it's been so fun to read all your comments. I usually read them like first thing in the morning or as I'm going to bed, and like they're just so kind, like so encouraging, and everybody shares different things. And one thing I saw in multiple comments that we'll leave it here on this note, most people seem to agree that we should be eating cake in the bathtub. So if you have no clue what I'm talking about, you can see it on my Flosstube. I think number 2 is where I was talking about it. But I am like planning on getting a cake and eating it in the bathtub. It's near future plans. So on that note, because now I am rambling, on that note, I will see you guys next time, and thanks for watching. Okay, so I just did the little giveaway thing, and the winner of it is Lizette X Stitch, and I will also write that down in the description. And Lizette, or Lizette X Stitch, Lizette, yeah, that's your name, Lizette. If you can send me an email, and I'll put my email address in the description box. And if you send me an email with your information, I will ship it to you. It looks like it's going to Germany, which is so fun. So I'm super excited to send this to you, and I hope you enjoy stitching it. Just get in contact with me and I will get your shipping details. Okay, happy floss tubing, guys.